Welcome back, and today we are looking at the 8th Doctor Adventures audio series for season 2. So as with season 1, there are 8 episodes in this season, and I will not be talking spoilers, so you are free to watch this if you haven't listened to any of these dramas before. This will be vibe based, so hopefully we get through these a bit quicker. Judging from how long the last 2 videos were, doubtful, but we can try. And I'll be doing a quote per episode rather than a quote per season, because the audio dramas are just so good. So good. A lot of the quotes are just funny little conversations or something. They're not usually as poignant. Some of them are, not always, but they're just so good I can't pick one per season. I note down about 20 quotes per episode. It's impossible to pick one for the whole season, so I just pick one per episode. So we start with the first episode of season 2, which is Dead London. So this story is brilliant. It got a 4. It's a really great start to the season and I absolutely love it. I think it's really fun. There's a great mystery right from the start of the episode where the Doctor and Lucy have gone to the same place and time, and then suddenly they're 300 years apart from each other. And they're like, but I was just there, how am I now here? It's a great mystery and it plays out really well. I do love this story and how it works and how the mystery unravels. Without giving spoilers, I will say this does remind me of the War Games from season 6 of Classic Who, just without the wars. I can't say why, but it just gives me the War Games vibes at points. The villain of the episode reminds me of Colony Sarf from series 9 of New Who. He seems to have sort of a hive mind with duplicates of himself or something, and that is the easiest way for me to say it without spoiling anything, but that's what it felt like, and so he just reminded me of Colony Sarf a little bit. There's a moment with a wicker object, a wicker made object, and the Doctor uses his sonic screwdriver on it. Now, remind me, wicker is wood, right? Wicker is wood, and the sonic screwdriver, very famously, does not work on wood. Very confused by that, can't deny it. He says that he was oscillating the atoms in the wicker. I don't know if that counts as working on wood / not working on wood, but either way, that delves very much into the one thing the sonic screwdriver cannot do, other than deadlock seals. It's been removed now, so that's very confusing for me. The 8th Doctor does say Geronimo at one point in this one, and it just made me think, he's already using it. He took it from Ace, he's going to use it for the 11th Doctor, it's fun. But I do think that the 8th Doctor's Alonzi or Geronimo or Fantastic is, of course. Because he says that all the time. He goes, of course, of course. So I do think that's his catchphrase. What's the 12th Doctor's catchphrase? Does he have one? All my other notes are spoilers, so I cannot say any more. But putting this into a tier list, it's going to go into Fantastic. This is a brilliant episode. It's absolutely fantastic. It's fun, great mystery. I would put it into Uyu, but there are a couple of little tiny points which frustrate me and confuse me. One of which I've mentioned, the sonic screwdriver thing. The other 2 I can't mention because they contain spoilers. Overall, this is a great story. Highly recommend. Brilliant start to the season. And the MVP for this episode is Yellow Beryl. As with the past 2 tier lists, I cannot put a picture up because it's an audio drama, there are no pictures. The quote of the episode is the Doctor addressing a large audience. And he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, I come hither to hang like a pendulum to a watch, for endeavouring to be young after my time. In the course of my lives, I have much to apologise for. I sincerely repent sundry heinous offences against fashion. In my defence, I plead the regrettable taste of previous incarnations. You see, it wasn't me. It was me." And while out of context, that quote may make no sense to you, I hope. I just love the fact of how the Doctor is complaining about his fashion sense whilst wearing a frock coat, which Lucy constantly breaks him for his frock coat as well. So he's berating his own fashion sense from previous incarnations, but he's wearing a frock coat, so don't get me wrong, I like the 8th Doctor's outfit, although I prefer the later 8th Doctor outfit over the young 8th Doctor outfit. Next up is Max Warp. So this episode also got a 4. So the first thing to say is that there's an audio drama called Donna Noble Kidnapped, and that one is obviously about Donna Noble, and I think it's the 2nd episode in that box set. There's one where she and her friend are forced to work for this spin agency marketing firm type thing, and a couple of characters in this kind of gave me vibes of that story. I do like when Doctor Who stories connect to each other, even just with vibes. It just feels right. But yeah, there are these little robot things called spin droids in this one, which help politicians to make the best decisions that the people will approve of. So it just kind of gave me vibes of that one. There are a lot of funny moments with Lucy again, especially when she's going up against the misogynist, chauvinist guy on this Max Warp TV show. Love Lucy. Always love Lucy Miller. Seriously, listening to this story again after everything on the internet about the male loneliness epidemic, it hits so much harder as to why there's so many lonely men and how they are not lonely enough. I seriously applaud Lucy Miller for not completely tearing into this GB News dickhead, because she could. She easily could. She could show him another level of pain, but she didn't. She held firm and held her nerve. Again, I have to mention, as I have on the past 2 tier lists, I think, the general sound for these dramas is fantastic. The footsteps alone change depending on the surface that people are walking on, from carpet to wood to stone. It's just so well done. These audio dramas are so well made and I love them. So brilliant. The attention to detail in these audio dramas really is just top notch. It cannot be faulted. I also noted down that the Doctor going all Poirot is funny, but then later on in the episode, Lucy literally says, this is like an episode of Poirot. So I think that may have been the intention. But that is all the notes I had that are non-spoilery. So ranking Max Warp, I think is going to go into Fantastic again. I really enjoyed it. It was such a good episode. It was really good and really fun. And the thing that happens at the beginning, which the Doctor and Lucy are trying to figure out throughout, the big twist with everything, the answers to it all, it's just so well done. The story itself and the script is just so good. So good. The MVP for the episode is Timbo. The quote of the episode is a very drastic conversation between Lucy and the Doctor. To do this with the least amount of spoilers as possible, they are trapped in something, and Lucy, for some reason, thinks that naming a certain animal will be the password to get them out. Lucy says, if saying ferret causes the spaceship to crash, maybe saying it again, undoes the effect. The Doctor says, good grief. Lucy says, mole, otter, beaver. Oh God, what are those things called that pop out holes? And the Doctor says, I don't believe it. I'm trapped on board a spaceship about to crash into a minor planet, and my companion is listing vermin. It's just such a funny bit, and the way that Paul McGann and Sheridan Smith say it all is just so funny. As I said previously, I am not doing these quotes justice. If you listen to the actual audio drama, you will hear how brilliant these quotes are. I don't do it justice. Don't take my word for it, go listen to the dramas. Next up is Brave New Town. Now, I remember loving this story on first listen, and on a re-listen, I still love it and I gave it a 5 again. It's tremendous, amazing. I think the way that the monster of the story was used, outstanding, brilliant. The best way for this sort of monster to have been used in Doctor Who, and I cannot believe it hasn't been done before this time. The whole mystery is interesting and laid out so well, and you watch it unravel again, it's just so brilliant. I love it. I can't fault this story at all. There's literally nothing else I can say about this one that doesn't have spoilers in some way, except that... Oh, no, I can't say that either. There's literally nothing else I can say that doesn't have spoilers. All the rest of my notes are spoilers or spoiler adjacent, so I can't say anything more. All I can say is that Brave New Town is going into UEU. It's a phenomenal story, truly brilliant, written perfectly. The mystery, the twist, the characters, the whole feel of the story is just so good. I love this one. This is Doctor Who. It's brilliant. And the MVP for the story is Jason Taylor. The quote of the episode, I don't think needs much explanation, so I'm just going to go straight into it. Lucy says, so I'm looking for something that doesn't say what it ought to say, in a language I can't read. I should have stayed in Blackpool. I just love that one because it's just such a fun moment between Lucy and the Doctor. Next up is The Skull of Sobek. So this one got a 3. I found this a bit of a bland story, especially coming off of the back of the past 3 episodes. It was still fine, like there was nothing wrong with it. I just felt it was more bland than it could have been. There's only really one note I can say that isn't a spoiler. Lucy in this story is inducted into a religious cult without her consent, and they want to force her to be a sister in this nunnery, effectively. And she's like, no, I don't want that. Get the fuck away from me. Fuck off. Not happening. The resolution for that being that the abbot at this place says the Doctor needs a spiritual balance in the form of Lucy Miller. So I quite liked that the resolution to that. But yeah, stop forcing your religion on people. Let people believe what they want to believe. Stop forcing it on other people. But yeah, The Skull of Sobek overall, I'm going to put it into wibbly wobbly. It was decent, but compared to every other 8th Doctor story, I just didn't like it that much. It was okay. I didn't dislike it. I just didn't love it. The MVP for the story is Sister Chalice. And while I didn't like the story so much, there is one quote that I had noted down from the first time I listened to this, which was before I even noted down any quotes for stories. And I really do like this one. I think it's very poignant. Lucy says, "Doctor, am I getting all used to it? Dead people. Because I don't want to do that. Ever." I just like the poignancy of that quote. And it reminds me of the moment in Thin Ice where Bill has a go at the doctor because he's used to the dead people, and she's just seen her first person being killed in front of her, and the doctor has no reaction, and she starts having a go at him for that. Like, how can you just be used to it? And this quote reminds me of that. I just think it's quite a poignant quote. The next episode is Grand Theft Cosmos, in which the headhunter becomes the monk, apparently. I mean, she doesn't become the monk, but she really reminds me of the monk in this one because she's sort of time travelling for financial gain, which is weird to me. Speaking of the headhunter though, her whole mannerism and the way she talks, the way she is, really reminds me of Missy. If Missy had have decided to become a master thief rather than master of the world. When I first heard the headhunter in season 1, I generally thought she was played by Michelle Gomez and that it was just like Missy. But no, she's not. She's played by someone else. I like the headhunter as an antagonistic character. She's really fun. I can't say anything without spoilers. There's a hypnotised guard who whispers while hypnotising because the person hypnotising him whispers something and he whispers back going, "Yes," or something like that. That was quite funny. And there's a small scene at the end to do with a statue, just to show that the statue hasn't been forgotten. That was quite nice. I like the fact that they did include that scene at the end. Other than that, I cannot say anything. The story got a 4. I did really enjoy it. I thought it was a great adventure and really quite fun. I suppose I can mention there's a character from season 1 in this one, and the Time Lords had meddled with her life to stop her from becoming this fascist dictator or something. But I don't understand how much they meddled because there's nothing of that in her at all in season 1 or in this episode. It's very bizarre as to how she was supposed to become that because she's a completely different character. Even if she is an antagonist in this, she's a completely different character. So it doesn't make sense to me, but I'm going to put Grand Theft Cosmos into upgrade in progress. Because I do think it was really good, really fun, great story, but I don't think it was as good as the first 2 episodes. So I'm going to put an upgrade in progress. And the MVP is Fredrik Simonsen. The quote of the episode is just a fun little tidbit. So the Doctor and Lucy turn up in a TARDIS, and a character called Karen says, "Not them again. I really think that TARDIS counts as cheating." Fair. It's a fair point. Next up is the Zygon who fell to Earth. So this story also got a 4. I really liked the use of the Zygons in this story. I thought it was done quite well and made for an emotional story as well. Also, I like how this story weaves into Lucy's own family history in quite a meaningful way. Auntie Pat returns in this episode, Lucy's Auntie Pat from the Horror of Glam Rock episode of season 1. And I like the fact that she remembers the events of that episode in this one. So I do like the continuity there. The 8th Doctor Adventures has a great continuity. The level of continuity in these seasons is brilliant. So I do love that. I applaud Big Finish for everything they do with these. Without saying anything about the story, I will say that it does get quite emotional at the end, and what happens in the story does work really well. I like it. And finally, after the episode has finished, there's a song about a falling star, and I like it. I like the song. I don't know if it was a real song or if it was made just for this, but I like it. It's a good song. But I'm going to put the Zygon who fell to Earth, I'm going to put it into upgrade in progress again. I do like the story. I think it's good. Again, as I say, it's got an emotional depth to it, which I like. Yeah, I think upgrade in progress is the best place for it, for me personally. But it is a really good story. And the MVP for the episode is Haygoth. The quote of the episode comes at a pivotal moment, and it's a quote from Auntie Pat, and she's talking to the Doctor. I should say I've had to cut out the beginning chunk of this quote because of spoilers, so you've just got the last line of the quote. Pat looks at the Doctor and says, "I can see you, Doctor. Death and disaster all around you. Darkness." I just like when characters say that sort of stuff to the Doctor because it really hits home for him. In the TV show, you can see his reaction to it. In audio form, obviously you can't see his reaction to it. You still feel what he's feeling, regardless of the fact that he's not saying anything. You feel it. The next episode is Sisters of the Flame. Now this is the first of the 2-part finale to the season, and I really liked it. I gave it a 5. I really like this episode. I've heard people complaining because the Doctor isn't in this one much and it's more Lucy based, but I have no complaints. I think it works really well, especially with the finale as well. The opening is very nice. It's very vague, so you don't really know what's going on, and you see the events unfold as you go, which I like. I think it's good how they've done that. This sets up the events of the finale really well in general, so I just love it. Once again, I have to applaud the sound design in this. There's this character called Rosto who is a troll. They're basically 10-foot centipedes. And every time he talks, you hear this sort of clicking noise very quietly behind it. With all the troll, you hear this soft clicking noise behind. It just works so well because they're big bugs. And that's how it would be. Like you can just imagine either pincers or just their legs, but you can imagine it, you know, you can see the giant bug as they're talking. The sound design in these dramas is just outstanding. One thing about the 10-foot tall centipede though is that Lucy does get kind of racist towards it. Can't deny it. She does learn as the episode goes on. She does learn and she apologises. But it's still weird seeing Lucy being so racist against this giant bug. Or hearing Lucy being racist against the giant bug. There's a flashback in this episode to the start of the season, to the first episode, and I really like how that was incorporated into the story with what Lucy was going through at the time. It just worked really well. Sometimes flashbacks work really well in TV and audio form, mostly when it's been a while. This is 6 episodes away from the episode that it was in. We're not flashing back to earlier in that episode or the previous episode. We're flashing back to the beginning of the season. So I do like how they did that, and I think it worked really well. Time Lords are really patronising, let's just be real. I hate how patronising Time Lords are to people, especially Lucy and humans and whatnot. It's so frustrating, and I love Lucy's reaction to it. I would not have the restraint that she does, I'm going to be honest. It makes me love stories like The Invasion of Time even more, because in The Invasion of Time, in the Tom Baker era, humans successfully invaded Gallifrey, and the Time Lords sort of gave up everything for these humans, not knowing that they were humans. And it makes me love those sort of stories, because screw you, Time Lords. It makes them look ridiculously, pathetically stupid when they can be infiltrated by humans successfully. And then Sontarans on top of that. When they're all patronising and whatnot, like they are to Lucy all the time, I just think of that. And Lucy does get her own back on this particular Time Lord later on. So that's fun. The ending is very, very, very good. It's intense, it's suspenseful, and it leads perfectly into the finale. I love it. So Sisters of the Flame, I think I'm going to put into Uwu. It is a brilliant story, really well crafted, and it leads perfectly into the second part of the finale as well. It has high stakes, it's really good, and this is what Doctor Who is, you know? I love it. And it's also fairly Doctor Light at times, so the fact that it's successful there as well, it just works so well. It's brilliant. The MVP for this story is Rosto. The quote of the episode is when the Doctor is talking to a character called Orthena, who is a member of the Sisterhood of Khan, and she's talking about this weapon that she has in her vault. And the Doctor says, "So it's a molecular dispersal chamber. How quaint." Well, when I say quaint, I mean utterly barbaric. And Orthena says, "We stole it from the Time Lords." And the Doctor just goes, "Touché." I just love that, because the Time Lords are fucking hypocrites. At least the Doctor acknowledges that. And finally, we come to the last episode of the season, which is The Vengeance of Morbius. So this one also got a 5. I absolutely loved it. It was a brilliant episode. Just like the last one, it was tense and suspenseful and just fabulous. I loved the beginning, the middle, the resolution at the end. It was all brilliant. I still don't understand the cult of Morbius. I didn't understand it back in the Brain of Morbius episode of Classic Who. I don't understand it now. Why are people following this man? I don't get it. I understand that it's there, and I accept that. I just don't understand why people are following Morbius. What does he offer them? I don't get it. Morbius himself is quite chauvinistic in this episode, which we don't like to see. And I also have questions about that. Same as when the Master in Utopia in Series 3 of New Who is chauvinistic. I don't understand how Time Lords, who are a gender-bending species, could possibly be chauvinistic. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. In this episode, not a spoiler as such, because it generally happens in every episode of Doctor Who anyway, Lucy and the Doctor think they're going to die, and I just love Lucy's reaction is just serenity, because she's with the Doctor, and she's like, if I'm going to die, at least I'm with you. I just think it's really sweet that she can just accept the fact that her death is imminent because she's with the Doctor, and at least she's not alone. She's with someone who cares about her, who she cares about, and she's not alone. So I kind of like that moment. I thought that was a really sweet moment. The resolution to the episode reminded me of something in New Who, which I can't say because it's a spoiler, but just know it reminded me of that. The ending itself, the overall ending to the episode, was rather bleak and incredibly emotional. And I think Sheridan Smith, the voice actress for Lucy Miller, did a fantastic job. with this role. I mean, she does a fantastic job in general, but in this episode at the end, she does a really good job in this one as well. She has a sad little monologue at the end. It's well written and it's well spoken as well. She's done brilliantly. A warning, if you are going to listen to this series and you haven't before, there is a post-theme scene at the end. It's not post-credits as such, but post the Doctor Who theme tune, there is a tiny little scene at the end, and I missed that the first time around. I only heard it on my re-listen. I missed it the first time around. Make sure you don't. It leads into season 3, so beware. For tier listing the episode though, I think I'm going to put this into Uyu as well. To be honest, I couldn't put Sisters of the Flame in Uyu without putting Vengeance on Morbius in there too. But yeah, this one's going into Uyu. I think it's a fantastic Doctor Who story. There's so many great moments in it. The Doctor and Lucy Miller are tremendous as a pairing and individually. The villain is villainous. We love it. And I just think it's a really good story. Once again, the MVP is Rosto. I generally, with audio dramas, will do the same MVP for both parts of two-parters anyway. At other times I don't. Depends. The MVP for this episode is still Rosto. The quote of the episode was very, very hard to choose because most of them contained high spoilers. So I've picked one that is just a nice little Dr. Lucy moment. The Doctor says, "The Time Lords are in deep isolation, Lucy." And Lucy says, "Oh, that'll be one of your usual explanations then. Big on mystery, short on information." I love it. And also that's one of the moments where, when I said in my tier list video before about Lucy Miller being sort of a mix between Martha and Donna in my eyes, that's very much a Donna moment. That's a Donna response. I love it. Love Lucy Miller. Love that response. That is all of the 8th Doctor Adventures Series 2 tier listed, and I think we can all agree it's a tremendous season of audio drama. I love it. Again, any animators out there want to animate these dramas so I can watch them, feel free, let me know, because I really want to see these on a screen. The 8th Doctor and Lucy Miller deserve to be seen on screen. Season stats. The most common score for any episode was a 4, and the season average was a 4.14. And that is it. That is my tier list for Series 2 finished. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below, whether you've listened to any of these before, whether you are interested in listening to any, what one takes your fancy if you haven't listened to any before. Just let me know thoughts. Just tell me thoughts in the comments because I'm interested. And I'll see you next time when I tier list the 8th Doctor Adventures Series 3.